Here's a woman, Jamuga.
Why are you gay?
He was a retard.
Here's a woman, Jamuga.
What?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Right. It's another day, it's another week, but not any week, not just any week, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just any week. It is a very special week. And on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, it's going to be 20 years since the first time we got behind the microphone seriously in a broadcast fashion. 20 years since that very early Saturday morning in Purchase, New York, at Manhattanville College, WNVL 88.1. And I've got some stuff. I've got so much. I can't tell you. It's been about a week now that I have been up late, real late, every night, and burning with enthusiasm. And I've just been riding this out because, man, whenever you find something like that, by the way, you might notice this is not a mole over here. This is a new tattoo that Aurora gave me. She has a booklet of tattoos, and she put it. It's a doggy. It might not look like that because it's very small. It's like a mole, like a giant black mole, but it's not. It's a doggy tattoo. So, and she put it on herself. She told me, now this is not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt, Dad. I said, okay. And then, of course, it started hurting. I started screaming. Top of my lungs. But I am going to be revealing to you the depth of the work that I've been doing all along the way this week, and I'll continue to make announcements of when new stuff is posted to this particular channel. That channel, of course, is the Zaralza New York channel on YouTube because it existed for a while. It was branded as Hogwash since like 2015 or 16, like that. And I have since completely rebranded it. It has gone back to all of the. Oh, hold on. Take a look at this. So it's going back to all that's the original banner. We actually have a printed out banner of that, a physical banner of that. Zaralza New York neon Times Square kind of a thing. And I organized everything that was already there. The live studio broadcasts from 2016, the last time that we all got together and did that stuff, including the first live YouTube test. Then there's all the podcasts that I synced up from SoundCloud. This is 2015 to 16. These are all the classic clips. I've actually made a lot of them that were privatized public. There's still some private stuff there that I will not be making public just for the safety of everything else. These are all of our short films and skits. Hopefully we get to add to that soon. Behind the scenes and on location stuff is blowing up. I'm uploading all new stuff to this, things that we forgot even existed. All the musical kind of things that we got going on here, random bits. You're going to have a fun time in here. And we'll have a fun time in here on Saturday night when we do our 20th year anniversary. Down here at the bottom, I put the Remembering the AMP show. That's my father and our friend Pam, our late friend Pam down there. I premiered the only two episodes that ever survived last night. You know, me and my family were the only ones watching, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know what's so inspiring about this? Going through all this, and we're going to get to tonight's show. It's all going to be about conspiracy theories that are coming true and, you know, asking you guys the question. One of the questions that was just posed on the Telegram is, what are the conspiracy theories that future generations are going to talk about? Since many of the OG conspiracy theories are no longer necessary to, how much digging you want to do. The real question is what happens from here. Now that we're living in the age of the conspiracy influencer, we'll get into that, all that stuff. But a little bit about inspiration first, because this really got me going. Where, you know, I was excited to work late into the night. I was excited to be with my family and with Lauren and Aurora on Valentine's Day. We went out, took my girls out, and then we came home and Lauren and I watched Crazy Stupid Love. Aurora was in bed. Everything's fine. 10 o'clock, I started getting to work. I stayed working until 2 o'clock in the morning, how I have been doing. And the thing here is, it's not only, when you think about purpose, what is your purpose? Your purpose could be your garden in the backyard. It's whatever you give yourself that you feel, this is, okay, I enjoy this. And you give yourself a purpose and you make a little bit of sense out of something that makes no sense. And it's one thing right now that never made any sense for years, and I didn't know what the hell I was ever going to do with it, was all of this history of us on air and doing things in front of the camera and, you know, playing music and writing and directing videos and all that stuff. And where did it all go? It's like there was a BC and an AD, and wherever the hell AD was probably around 2016 or so when Zadal's in New York officially stopped, and less people started coming to the studio because there were less and less shows being produced here at the studio. This room essentially just became my room in 2019 when we had no need for engineers and everybody started doing podcasts at their house and all that stuff. But there's so much. It was like a dormitory at the other place, a dormitory. And there's always people in there. And I'm finding all this stuff all over the place. I'm putting them in categories of folders. And I'm actually starting to splice things together to make little small vignettes of even just like the update videos. And when we were building the studio in 2009, before we came here in 2015. And I've just been putting them all over the place and wondering, where does it go from here now? I've been reaching out to people that I haven't seen in years, saying, listen, I got to get you to call in on Saturday. You got to come by for a visit, coffee. It doesn't have to be on the air, whatever. I've even reached out to Brad Hunstable, who started Ustream back in the day. See if I can get him to call in or send something in for Saturday night. But it's more so about the past comes to life. The past has been coming to life for me in a way that has made the present a lot more enjoyable, because prior to the last week and a half, where I really started feeling the urgency, or the urge, I should say, maybe, to go into all the archives, what we've done over here for the last 2 decades, and make sense of it all and try to figure out what I could just pull up onto the show just to reminisce a little bit. And of course, the reminiscing turned into, I want to organize this. And you know what? This is too precious just to pick some things out of a bag and just put them on the air. I want them to be on display somewhere, you know? And you get into a loop sometimes, no matter what you're doing out there. Maybe you guys understand know what this feels like, but you get into a loop sometimes where you're in the hamster wheel. Your hamster wheel probably looks different than mine. And you work for X amount of hours during the day. For me, it's 6 or 7 hours a day, putting together thoughts and pieces for what will be a nice, entertaining show at 7 o'clock that hopefully inspires some people to call in, and it's a nice, well-rounded talk experience. And then as soon as that final sign-off at 9:30, I breathe a sigh, and then that's it. The bubble that had been inflating the entire day bursts, and then I got to blow a new bubble in a couple of hours. And it almost feels like there's no time to digest anything. And after a while, you start forgetting what the hell you did the week before, let alone what you did the day before, let alone what you did 2 decades before. And being neck deep in the past, a really glorious, fun, awesome past. Yeah, you get a little sad. You mourn a little bit the loss of not, people. Thankfully, most of the people are alive and well, but we're not hanging out together anymore. Everybody has different things to do. We were all in our early 20s when this all kicked off, our mid 20s when we really hit our stride at the first studio, and things just happen. But it's still beautiful. And just because you look back on a time longingly at some point doesn't mean, we don't look at it, forget about it, or I'm just going to get sad. Fuck that. It's been really wonderful, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. Wednesday night we'll do Q&A. I'd love for you guys to call in, because that's going to be a night. Just want to reflect a little bit. Maybe I'll throw some things up on screen and show you some stuff. Maybe I can get somebody to come in. I don't know. But anything you ever wanted to know about the last 20 years, you can call in that night. I'm looking to talk about it. 20-year anniversary for things only rolls around once. I thought 10 years was crazy back in 2016. So nuts, 10 years. Now 10 years is bullshit. It is bullshit. 10 years is nothing. Absolutely nothing. But that's where I came from this weekend. It wasn't necessarily Valentine's Day. I'll find any reason to take Lauren and Aurora out for ice cream. But other than that, it was really more so about I felt like there was a little bit more fuel to the fire. Almost like I went to some fortress of solitude there. And I got to throw down some of those Superman crystals, those data crystals, and had Marlon Brando retell me the story of my past. Kal-El, Ralph, whatever your name is. And it was nice. So cheers to kicking off the 20-year... No, oh, shit. Yeah, 20 years. The 20 decades of doing this show. It's been a long time, 20 decades. And you can help it right now by hitting like and commenting, whether it's live or on demand, and sharing it around. Drop anything into the chat. Your engagement equals my oxygen, and that means we get to build this fire for another, hopefully, 40 years. Can you imagine me doing this when I'm 81? Oh, no. Oh, no. As long as I don't have cotton mouth. As I said, some people, they get older, and all of a sudden you can hear the mouth crinkling like cellophane. Every time they say something, you hear something sticking. You hear something sticking to a denture or whatever the hell it is. As long as I don't have cotton mouth, I will continue to do this show. Okay? I promise you that. I promise you that. Let's see. Nikki says 20 years is like 50 years. It feels like that. I look at the stuff that I was looking at some of that stuff last night, and I'm going to be uploading a lot more stuff tonight. Oh, the fire is still burning. Fire is still burning. And that's what we have. That's what we have. 20 years ago, I got out of the Air Force. I'm just reading the general chat at this point. Nothing worse than mouth noises, says Ozone at 61. Yes. It's old people ASMR, says AK. Yes. Yes. Oh, she has the hottest cotton mouth. Did you hear it? Oh, her cotton mouth was fantastic. But she was talking about the groceries and the coupon clippings. Did you hear her cotton mouth? So fucking hot. Yes. I don't know, I turned in British or something. I don't know why I turned British. That's what it was. When she was talking about the coupon clippings. I almost got off. My mouth became watery. For the first time in years, it was moist. Anyway, that's what old people talk about, right? We have some old people in the audience. Is that what you guys talk about? Call in later on. Let me know if there's ever any of that kind of discussion going on in your circles at the deli in the morning when you show up to the deli to meet up with all of your buddies, all of your dames, get together to have yourself a coffee and just chit chat a little bit. And there you have it. Okay. Pete in Canada says Gandalf the Moist. That was what they called me. Gandalf the Grey. I am the Gandalf the Moist. You know what? Somebody make that on AI. If there's any one good thing, I don't give a shit. If there's any one good thing AI is good for, is stupid little clips like that. Anyway, that's what I have. Okay. All right, so the first question I have for you guys is this. Number one, and it's a great little query that I am passing along to you that came to me by way of the Telegram, where Steve Ellis says, what are the next generation conspiracy theories going to be about? Because we are clearing out all the old ones. I do like all the flat earth memes right now about how everybody's conspiracy theories are being proven true except the flat earth. And it always has somebody like, punching a wall or something like that because they're being, denied gratification in some way or another. But what is the next generation conspiracy theory going to be all about? So you can call in with that. Think about it. When I put the call-in number on the screen, that's when you start calling in. You think about it. And in the meantime, get this tag off my shirt. So what the hell's tickling my neck? I love how all the shirts these days, the t-shirts, they have tags that rip right off. Like the tags from the shirts 12 years ago, they were welded on. You better take out the scissor and cut it off to an acceptable length, or you just put up with the little tickle in the back of the neck. Because if you pulled that thing, you are ripping your entire shirt apart. It is part of the actual construction of the shirt. Now every t-shirt is just like, yep. Awesome. Good job. Good job on all that. Okay, Hillary Clinton. I want to play this. It's only like 3.5 minutes long. A couple of these things, because it's interesting with the pivots and all that. And she is obviously getting nice and visible right now because, she and her husband in about 10 days' time are going to be in court. So yeah, let's take a listen to this. This clip is coming by way of Memology 101. And for those of you who are in podcast land, let me just preface this for you. She's going to be going, exchanging words with Czech Deputy Prime Minister Peter Macinka after he says that President Trump is reacting to policies that went too far in the past, social policies, whatever the hell it is. Good stuff. Listen to this exchange.
I think that the Trump administration's position toward Ukraine is disgraceful. I think the effort to force Ukraine into a surrender deal with Putin is shameful. I think the effort that Putin...
I hear, you hear the cottonmouth? I hear cottonmouth right now. I didn't hear that before. When I listened to this before, I didn't really hear it, but now I got headphones on and everything's amplified. Good God. Hillary Clinton saliva. That's disgusting.
And Trump are making to profit off the misery and death of the Ukrainian people is a historic error and corrupt to the nth degree. And so I believe Ukraine is fighting for our democracy and our values of freedom and civilization.
Yeah, nothing screams freedom like canceling your elections and stifling political opponents inside of your country and all that stuff. Yeah, no, nothing screams freedom like having a government that's run by other governments. Nothing screams freedom like that, you dumb bitch. No, you're not dumb. You're a very, very sly creature.
On the front lines, losing thousands of people and
thousands of other people,
and having their country destroyed by one man's mania to control them. Yeah. And I think Trump either doesn't understand or could care less about that suffering. So that's what I think.
And so do you think he has destroyed the West, to go to our title?
He has betrayed the West. He's betrayed human values. He's betrayed the NATO Charter, the Atlantic Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Good. Let's get away from all that stuff. Let's get away from all that stuff. And let's, I don't want her to be, no, never mind.
A lot of what has been done before to try to make sense of how difficult it is to restrain people who want unaccountable power. And none of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself
I don't think
after.
we would be having this debate under that kind of regime.
Her family steals foreign aid. Her husband made China into what it is today. They steal the China, the actual, the silverware. Family set up a private intelligence sharing network in her home and then destroyed evidence with impunity because her friends at the FBI wouldn't even wouldn't even bring themselves to interview her under oath, let alone interview her seriously. Gave immunity to her staff before sitting down for conversations that weren't even recorded. Impunity. Incredible. Just incredible. But, she's a snarling freak like the rest of them. Snarling freak. I wish that Trump was the ruthless monster that people have been promising me. I wish that he was the ruthless monster these people, in particular, have been promising us. I really do wish. She would have been in prison with no chance of parole for years already. Years already. But instead, she was protected. And it was a shame. It was a shame. It was a shame.
For sure. We will come back, I suspect, to the conservatism and liberalism clash within the West, but thank you for that. Peter, do you agree that the Trump administration's actions on Ukraine have produced a rift in the West?
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
That is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
Peter,
what I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
Yeah. Women have way too many rights. Absolutely. He should have said that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Go run with that one, old hag bitch. Run with that one, Harridan fuck. Yes, absolutely. No rights for women, twat face.
Let Peter go on.
I think there are two genders. So, but some of
us? Can we have a right?
Some of us.
How about half of us? Can we have a right? This woman has not flipped a pancake. She hasn't flipped a pancake for herself in God knows how many centuries. Can't really tell how long she's been around. Just, yummy. Just so much meat on this bone, isn't there?
Think that there is more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct.
Oh yeah, and you know what? The whole cancel culture thing goes beyond the terminology, the vernacular that we use, and all that stuff. And don't cancel me, bro, and all that shit. It really just goes on down into what we saw it on a fundamental government level of governance. You know, the marriage, the fascistic marriage between the government and social media, to make sure that not only people are not able to dispute highly toxic and degenerate social trends and fads, but also just to make sure that the press and people aren't able to even push back on official stories and ask questions about current events, let alone completely censor centuries old, in some cases, newspapers from talking about very sensitive subjects in the lead up to major elections in 2020. So it's so far beyond that. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why. There's a lot of reasons why elections go the way they do, and that people react in the way that they do. But I'm sure that when Hillary Clinton looks at her rotting face in the mirror every night, she can be honest about what the hell's going on and what has repulsed people into action, whether they like Donald Trump or not. She could be honest about what has repulsed people into action. She exists to figure out how to get around people's repulsion, how to get around people's will, and how to gaslight when things don't go her way, and her flock's way. That's all they exist to do. They only exist for that.
So this is something that went too far.
But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders, if that's what you're worried about?
Yes, it does justify it. In fact, if I were president, I would have been like, inauguration day, take my oath, and then immediately I say no more everything to Ukraine. It's done. It's done. It's over. Make a deal. Shut the fuck up. It's over. Well, you people of Ukraine, they're fighting for our freedom. Why? Russia has to get through to Ukraine to get to the U.S. like as if Ukraine is all along the Western Front of Russia. It's this giant body of land that goes all along the western border of Russia, and Russia is just trying so hard to break through. They want to expand west so bad, but they just can't get past Ukraine. It's like the Battle of Thermopylae. There's 300 Spartans down there. They just won't let us through in Ukraine. Can't do it anymore. Thank God for Ukraine. If it weren't for Ukraine, Russia will be knocking on our front door if they could only figure out how to get past the Atlantic Ocean. They can't get past Ukraine to invade Europe. So I guess that's good for us, because in like 50 years, when they figure out how to get past Ukraine physically, then we probably have another 20 years until they figure out how to cross the Atlantic. So we have some time to turn the ship around over here. Thankfully. Oh man, I pulled the plug on that so quick. I'd love to see it go away. No, you good. Fucking, it would have been over like a year ago. A year ago, we would have been. It would have been already settled a year ago at this point. No, it would have been a lot worse. Okay, well, I don't care. I don't care. How about we start litigating why Ukraine is as bad as it is? Who was out there working out there? And what were they working on? How about we get back into that? That'd be nice. I don't like that the fighting is going on this long. I'm a pull the plug type of guy. I don't give a shit about this stuff anymore. How do we do it nice? I know that there's the reason we have to wean ourselves off of being a dependent country, and we have to wean ourselves. We have to cut off so much over here domestically, but that I'm ripping off the Band-Aid. So Zelensky and his friends can find another way to buy sports cars. Here's one other thing that Hillary Clinton says, admitting that mass migration has been destabilizing to Western society.
I think we need to call it for what it is.
Secretary
There is a
Clinton.
legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people.
Well, the borders don't torture and kill people. The people that are being paid to transport people across the border because they have an incentive to come here so that NGOs and faith-based initiatives can traffic people all over the country and into, Westchester County Airport at 3 o'clock in the morning because they know that they're going to be dispersed into Ossining by way of bus out of Costco. Get onto a Peter Pan tour bus out of Costco in Portchester. So, yeah, that's what I got. And she knows all about it, too. She knows all about it. Chappaqua girl over here. I was just driving through Chappaqua in the Armonk area yesterday. Here she is. And also just remember this from like over a decade ago. She's talking about just illegal immigration in general.
We've got to do several things, and I am, adamantly against illegal immigrants. I made this exception basically on humanitarian grounds because of the individual stories, but certainly we've got to do more at our borders, and people have to stop employing illegal immigrants. Come up to Westchester, go to Suffolk and Nassau counties, stand in the street corners in Brooklyn or the Bronx. You're going to see loads of people waiting to get picked up to go do yard work and construction work and domestic work.
Yeah, those are the people who are managing her property in Chappaqua, probably. You know? Oh, man, I drove through that town. What a quaint town. What a quaint town. What a very quaint thing. Everything is truly picturesque. They have everything they need. They got the organic markets. They got the vibrant libraries, an active theater group. Not a brown face in sight. I'm sure they all voted for Clintons whenever they had a chance. Obama's, Harris, Biden. I'm sure they all did. Not a brown face in sight. What it is. But that's the whole thing here. As you know, they're masters of the Hegelian dialectic. So they needed a problem first before they can suggest a correction. My question is, we have a problem, and that was the migration invasion. So what's the correction? What would she suggest as a correction? Not that she's out there running an op. She's just, she's out there making any kind of appearance she can to get herself in public eye and to prepare for what's going to be it may not even be rough at all 10 days from now. She's such a snake. Easy going. Probably won't even break a sweat. But apparently one of the things that we do need is more gay ICE agents. Did you guys see this? The sassy ICE agent that was going at, exchanging barbs with a protester? Take a listen to this guy.
This isn't a good look for you.
You think I care about my look?
No, no, trust me.
When you guys
It is evident by how you look, you don't care. We get that, trust me. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying this, trying to be a social warrior. If you actually cared, you probably would care about the child who got raped and also the person who got murdered by the person that we were looking for. But see, you don't care.
No, I don't care because you guys try.
Thank you.
Just try to detain legal immigrants.
Shut up, you bitch. Shut up. Get out of here. Get your car out of here. And the fact she posted that, like, look, don't post that. That's not a W. It's not a W. So anyway, yeah, migration, that's a problem. But we were told it wasn't a problem. Is that a conspiracy theory? Well, that's the whole thing. They're not theories. And people are starting to realize that conspiracy is how the world operates. I mean, that's how the world operates. Here's something. Here's a late bloomer. The always oily chunk yogurt. Chunk yogurt has had an epiphany 25 years after September 11th. I no longer believe the official story of 9/11, says Chunk. This is a very, very oily text. 2 paper passports did not burn and were found on the rubble, but it was so hot, World Trade Center 7 burned across the street. Burned down. Collapsed. Nonsense. It's time to look for who gained from 9/11. Our government doesn't work for us. They've been lying the whole time. To my normie friends who'll be outraged by this, we have been brainwashed by corporate media all our lives. They said that anything that isn't the official government story is a conspiracy theory. Only insane people believe, to gaslight you into questioning the government. Why am I questioning this now? That's obvious. We just found out our government was lying to us for decades about a child rape ring inside of America, and our government protected the predators instead of American children. You'd have to be an idiot to trust the U.S. government now. I don't believe that was really it. This is somebody who sees where the wind is blowing. He sees where the wind is blowing. I mean, that's just it. You don't want to be left behind. You want to be able to give yourself a little bit of flexibility to maneuver, and that's what he's doing. It's just ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So now we'll start what? Where does that all go? You know, conspiracies are standard operating procedure. It's not a theory. But nonetheless, conspiracies are cool right now. And this is another thing that a lot of OGs are trying to contend with. And in Chank's, in his standpoint, he is pretty OG as far as how many years he's been in the game, and how he would run things. Young Turk's been around for a long, long time. A long time. And I don't really remember what they were like in the beginning. I just remember when I realized I didn't like what they're saying, and I said, okay, this is not for me. This seems all very bullshit to me. He was a lot thinner back then, too. But still, the conspiracy theories are true now. And it's cool. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, too, who have been... we're being covered by an avalanche of newbie bullshit. There is that. You know, some soccer mom who watched a video about chemtrails last week is now making authoritative videos on Operation Popeye, and, as if she wasn't drowning in episodes of Real Housewives just a few years ago. So we all have to deal with that. And listen, it's one thing for you say, well, you always want new people to wake up to this stuff. That's the new people. This guy's something else. He's making another choice. But there's something, and I don't know what you guys feel it. Even though I see it as progress in some way, I also don't see it as progress. It doesn't feel. It feels more like all the conspiracy vlogging that's going on right now. Like 150,000% more than we've ever had. Just people coming out of nowhere and commenting on and breaking stories that we've been reading about for decades now. It almost has the same kind of a feeling as like when Marvel and DC reboot Batman or Spider-Man or something like that. And it's becoming a little bit more of an empty production. And the biggest thing that we're getting out of it right now is it seems that a new form of virtue signaling has started. We know how the left virtue signals, and now I'm seeing a lot of conspiracy theory virtue signaling, like who's the most red-pilled, who has the latest update in the lore, no matter how stupid it is. And of course, if you think something is stupid out of hand, then now somebody's great aunt is calling you a shill. It does get a little bit over and underwhelming. And I had somebody write into me recently, and they say, well, Frank, we've been here for a while. We've been awash in information, and we have a whole bunch of information, and we also have valid assumptions about what's going on. Information, valid assumptions about the world, confirmations in many ways, but lacking in a plan to combat it. So, I mean, I guess we're all in the same place. If somebody, brings somebody to the table, a new person gets red-pilled today, somebody's been red-pilled and brought to the truth, or at least brought on the path for it 25 years ago, are we all in the same place where we realize that there's very little that we can do? Bigger picture stuff, yes, I like still talking about that. I really do. But I think the most effective plan is still out there, and it's still out there for all of us. I mean, you need to get yourself in shape. You need to watch where you're shopping, your ingredients, what you're eating and drinking. Breaking generational cycles is a big way. This is just generational. I think that's the big thing, because everybody's been asking, okay, what do we do now? I don't want to pay taxes anymore. The government is full of, child predators and nobody that even plays the same game we do, let alone the rules. And I understand that. But it's also been they've been chipping away at this generationally for a while. And the other big thing here too, and when I say about that generationally, and the game that they're playing, we'll get around to the solution thing again. But I have to get back to this Epstein thing for just a little bit. Because when I was watching, what the hell was it? It was, I saw this. The crown princess from Norway saying, I regret the friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, and I really didn't get it. I didn't understand. Apologized for her friendship. Said that her association with him was just not well. It's not good. I would never have had anything to do with Epstein if I had been aware of the seriousness of his criminal acts, even though they were friends, before and after his convictions and all that. So she understood. They all do. But remember, the emails that this woman was exchanging with him was about designer babies. Let's see here. I put it up on the Instagram. You always make me smile because you tickle my brain, says the princess. Soon people won't be able to make new humans anymore, but I guess that would be a La La Land great. We can just design them in a lab. And there's more on that too, on genetics. Now, the reason why I want to start off with that is because the bigger picture stuff, you want to talk about things that have been validated. I mean, what does this denial even mean? If I had known, yeah, she thought she was discussing genetic engineering, the future of society with a stand-up guy. That's what I thought he was. I thought he was just a bold visionary. Bold visionary who wanted to genetically redesign humanity. Obviously, I didn't think he was some sort of a monster. I would never have assumed that when we were talking about designer babies and humanity not being able to reproduce for themselves anymore. So, what I was most wrong about, me in particular, as I read through all the stuff that came out in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, was my assumption that Epstein was a middleman, that he was a fixer type, that he was disposable in some way. And I think that he's so far, I mean, I guess everybody outlives their usefulness at one way or another, but he was not disposable. He was nearly indispensable. I mean, at least for a time. The emails, the DMs, that's what we really got to look into. That's the stuff that really matters to me and all this stuff. The confidential human sources stuff, the tip line nonsense, Biden being executed in 2019. That's all red herrings. All red herrings. They would love as many people making TikTok videos as possible about 2019 Biden execution. They would want as many people as possible making TikToks about that. But, the emails here show, got a couple of things in here. First of all, an inner circle. This constant chatter about inner circles, That keeps coming up here as well. I was talking about that with two friends of mine over the weekend. We were exchanging screenshots and all that. And it's not even just about inner circles, because everybody, I mean, you have an inner circle of friends, but we're talking about how people are brought in and initiated into these groups that these groups have formed. They have structure. They got business magnates emailing him about Bohemian Grove, obviously him telling Peter Thiel that he represents the Rothschilds and all that stuff. Now, does he represent the entire family for all matters? Probably not, but perhaps on certain projects. But much like there's no reason to distrust his taking credit of the creation of the Clinton Global Initiative, I would have to imagine that all this is true. The email stuff, at least much of it. And the crazy thing is about the initiation. Like, we're talking about real secret society stuff, not just the Zodiac Club that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago or last week whenever Jeff Harmon came on. And then did we talk about Zodiac Club with Jason Burmis? I forget. But he's a member of the CFR and David Rockefeller's Trilateral Commission. These guys were, you know, it's the initiation stuff in there too. The Zodiac Club, Bilderberg stuff in there, Bohemian Grove, whatever the hell he calls his little inner sanctum, his inner circle. It even had a hierarchy, almost like a harem style hierarchy that it keeps referring to. That there's almost like occult ritual aspects to just be able to be initiated into the circle of trust. So I look at that and I'm just like, wow. I mean, it's such an enormous story, and it's such a win. It really is. It's speaking of winning. I mean, how many times I think at least twice in the last 2.5 years, we brought up as a bonus topic and a reminder, the mathematical improbabilities of winning the lottery. How even that doesn't apply to these people. I mean, didn't he win the Powerball like 2 or 3 times, Jeffrey Epstein? We started talking about how lotteries are rigged and all that other stuff. I think that was a 2024 or 23 show. Well, maybe 25 or 24. Keep forgetting it's 26 now. But the Zorro Ranch thing is the biggie. You know, connecting to the Norway princess. They're talking about the genetics. The Zorro Ranch thing is huge, man. We're getting into cloning, the transhumanism stuff. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of a ritual element to it all. But, I mean, he was building a far more massive genetics program than anybody really gives him credit for. And he's got these fertility specialists that are on lock. I finally found a direct reference to that Joy Ito guy. You remember we were going into all of the MIT stuff a couple of weeks ago. Here's the Rents article. I'll put it up on the screen again. Okay, it's by Yoichi Shimatsu. This is what we started off. This was the one from 2012 or something like that. It couldn't have been 2012, but either way. So there's a weird date on that. But anyway, this will talk about Aaron Swartz of Reddit. And of course, there was a 2019 follow-up after Jeffrey Epstein had been found dead and was removed from the board that really went a lot more deeply into he, Bill Gates, MIT, the connection there. Joy Ito went deep on this guy, who once ran a nightclub in Roppongi, Tokyo's drug peddling and prostitution district run by a Yakuza boss whose interest lies in the Caucasian models performing coprophilia. That's playing with waste materials and bondage. Increasingly favorite video themes besides CP among the American University technocrati. Since he never earned a higher degree, Ito's main qualifications is apparently his status as the godson of Timothy Leary. For those who are not too stoned to comprehend political reality, Leary began his drug experimentation as a psychologist for the MK Ultra and mind control program and became a proselytizer of hallucinogens under a CIA PSYOP campaign to disable the anti-war movement. MIT Media Lab is yet another spin-off from the all-powerful MK Ultra DARPA. No wonder it's been producing CP and involved in overseas pedophilia. The One Laptop program is a clever vehicle to provide early sex education to children across impoverished Asia and Africa who have yet to reach pubescence. Sick stuff. Anyway, this was laid right in the lap of that Joy Ito guy. And finally, pops up over here, Bill Hellman has some ideas on how to create business around this and to monetize the concepts and plan a plan to human translational research. I don't know if that's a typo. And don't worry, he's incredibly discreet. Also, Jeff Ling, the former head of DARPA and Total Genius, is also my good friend and very supportive. This is all from we believe a woman, MW. I forgot her name. Didn't give a ton of detail, but says he'll do whatever or even help run, advise, etc. He knows how to make science fiction science fact. Jeffrey says both are welcome to our secret society. Now, you can say he's just being tongue-in-cheek about things, but also just kind of like a meta kind of a reference there. It's very obvious that this is all a secret society. They're playing by their own rules. They have enough funds to justify and to dwarf the economies of most developing nations, to be honest. And very supportive. He says they will join Joy Ito among Ed Boyden and Caleb. MIT Agro. Perfect, says MW. So here they all know each other. And I was actually, I had first looked, I went onto the DOJ website and I actually put in a search and control F for Joy Ito. Nothing had popped back, but this I think came back as images. And that's where, this is all popping up and I was so thrilled to see it. But that's what we have. I mean, this is the backbone of it all. So it's not even just, hey, secret societies run the world. They work with each other, even if they're not completely overlapping in their ritualistic aspects and what they do and, what their traditions are. Interests converge a lot and they just, it's Game of Thrones. So not only we have that Eyes Wide Shut is real, but that this right here, the backbone of it all, I mean, the jerky references, I mean, that'll get the clicks. But damn, secret societies playing a completely different game than us by a whole different set of rules. These mongrels on the street who are protesting ICE, blowing their whistles in Minnesota, if they had the ability to understand what kind of farm animals they were and how they were being used, they would be dumbfounded. They would be shocked at how stupid they are. They'd be shocked. They'd be dumbfounded that they are, to realize the human shields that they really are, the real distractions. Hey, keep people who actually want something to change at bay. Be the human shields between the system and the people who you should be joining. You should be joining in demanding that this entire thing get taken down to the studs and rebuilt in some more of a feasible way. And of course, to hold people who turned it into this absolute catastrophe, this monstrosity, to account. That's really what I want to talk about here. The Zorro Ranch thing, man. I mean, they are out there in New Mexico. And we had Peterson. Where's my boy? Let me see here. If I have the actual night, where is it? When Jeffrey Peterson came on, where the hell? I think the name of the episode was called The Arizona Mafia. I don't know if it's still on YouTube. It was back a while ago. When we had Jeffrey Peterson came on, he founded like one of the first Spanish primarily Spanish social media sites. What was it, Que Pasa? I think that's what he made it. And he came on to talk about not only how the cartels work with primarily Democrats along the border states, but also about cloning. Eventually, we got around to cloning and how everybody was, doing their pets, and he thought that perhaps making bodies for either spare parts or to pull a Barbara Bush and to have your soul transferred into a new vessel when it was time. I mean, we're getting to OG conspiracy theories. There's a lot, but I mean, you think about everything that's just been confirmed right here. That is at the heart of the transhumanism stuff, the cloning stuff, the hybrids, the chimeras, God knows what else. Brave New World galore. This is all Brave New World. And then, of course, you have how many more references do you need between the CFR and the Trilateral Commission and Bilderberg alone? Davos and everything. It's just nuts. So I'm saying, and I'd like to entertain that question for when we open up the lines in a couple of minutes. What are future generations going to share with each other? What's going to be the next generation conspiracy theories? And who's going to be around to enjoy them? So that's nuts. Now, again, like I was saying before, we'll just open up the lines. 914-200-0269. The conspiracy influencer, the rise of the conspiracy influencer. It's a pretty cringe ass problem that we have right now, and I guess you just let people do their thing, and eventually it all kind of just levels out, because you know what? After a while, everybody will put enough years in to realize, okay, well, we're all in the same place. Some people came out of the box really hard in 2024, 2025. They saw a world that they'd never seen before, and now they want to go out there and tell everybody about what they found out. But after the bloom comes off that rose and you realize you're not Indiana Jones, we're all sitting around asking the same question. How do we take down a worldwide network of people who not only don't acknowledge our rules, but they don't even acknowledge our game? How do we do that? For sanity's sake, we concentrate on making our individual lives better. We're getting independent from the system as much as possible. We're working hard to raise based children, a new generation of children. The biggest thing here, I find, you don't really go up against Hillary Clinton in life. You go up against your family. That's the big thing there. After a while, you really put your shoulder into trying to break generational curses, societal curses. It's one of those things where you have to realize you're going after your family, or the family is going to come after you. No plan. I mean, it's to break generational cycles like that, especially the way that we raise our children. That's the big thing, because the system raised almost 6 generations of kids already. With the media that works hand in hand with the government and all of their NGO groups, their defense contractors. We all know what the CIA and the intelligence agencies have been doing with entertainment and news for since the 1950s when Mockingbird started up. We know that predictive programming is a scientific fact, that these things are massaged into the society. That's just what it is. And the biggest enemy you can have when you're trying to break those curses, like I've been pretty lucky, but I know that there's probably a little bit of concern that has been shown to each other behind my back. I'm pretty sure the biggest enemy that some people have is their normie families. If you're trying to do something outside the box, they're the ones who are going to go to war with you over your vaccine hesitancy. They're the ones who are going to go to war with you over your alternative approach to education, or even how you choose the movies that you're going to let your children watch. especially when you get to the point when you realize that we were low-key groomed our entire lives. I watch some of the movies that I was watching over and over again when I was a kid sometimes, and I'm just like, holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, even like the last time I watched The Professional with Natalie Portman when she was like 9 was very uncomfortable. I used to think that movie was badass, but it was very uncomfortable the last time I watched it. It's all over the place, man. So I get it. But those are the little things that we can do as individuals. But the real thing is, what the hell else? What can you do? What can you do? Because I don't think elections are going to work. I think about the baptism scene from The Godfather. That comes to mind. That's a fantasy, of course. I'm not going to do anything like that. Richard Harrow saving Tommy from the whorehouse in Boardwalk Empire. That's a nice scene. V for Vendetta. I can't, but you know what? I don't know. That's not for us. That's not for us. So you call in with your conspiracies, the new age ones. What are they gonna do? And then anything else you have for me tonight? It's 8:00. What a nice roundabout hour. 417, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, man, what's up? It's Lane from Missouri.
Hello, sir.
Hey, just wanted to call in, man. I'm glad you got the lines up and great show topic. Hey, what about this? What if this has happened before? They know what's coming, and this has kicked the can until the bitter end so we don't ruin their escape plan with the missing $91 trillion that Catherine Austin Fitts and they had figured out that is missing from the black budget. I'm just saying it seems like every other reset all goes down the same, you know?
Hey, what do you think the escape plan is, though? Because this is one of those situations where I think back to some of those talks we had with Ben Davidson about the earth shifting on its axis and everybody just getting sloshed around like a snow globe. I was like, maybe that's what it is, that they're just trying to let the clock run out for another 15 years and then just get into their bunkers and let everybody get wiped out by a tidal wave.
Well, see, yeah, they don't want us to, ruin the escape plan they have. Like, I live here in Springfield, Missouri, right by Branson, and they got this place that's bigger than the White House out here called the Pensmore Mansion, built by this Robert Huff guy out of this special concrete he designed to withstand nuclear blast. And it just seems like in every other reset that's ever happened, there's something that comes from the sky. This might be what they're blocking out, with whatever's coming in this way, maybe 3 Atlas, whatever. But it seems like they know something we don't. It's all a show to keep us occupied so we don't ruin their escape plan. That's all I'm thinking.
Well, I appreciate the theory there. My natural follow-up question to that is just, okay, well, if this is the show, which I know we're given a lot of that stuff, it's all a big stage, and the world is a one big giant stage, and we are forced to kind of play a role in it, even if we become the hermit. If we become, the person just said,
right, man.
Yeah, I'm going to become the Obi-Wan Kenobi character, and I'm going to live on the outskirts of town and just watch all the scum and villainy and Mos Eisley go on and not be a part of it. Well, you're still part of the whole damn thing, and whatever their plan for society is, you're going to have to pivot with it. Just like many of us, we didn't go along with the mandates for COVID, but we still had to live among and adapt for living among people who did.
No, that ruined my life. I was the only one in my entire family. I got thrown out of my house over it. The old lady left me, took the kids, and all that because I was it started as I wasn't invited to the Christmas and Thanksgiving, and then it was I was the one who was going to get everybody sick, and then I had to go. And I woke up one day to an ex parte get me thrown out of my house for all these crazy conspiracies. So they were afraid of me.
Jeez. Well, whatever happened after that? Did you guys all make up? Are you?
No, I moved in with a friend, and I haven't talked to her since then. I mean, the whole family turned against me. It was crazy.
What about your children? You said you have children?
My children are cool. I had children outside of that relationship. These were like 3 of her girls, but I mean, we were together for like 5 years. So I helped raise them and all that. It was a bad deal. But I mean, it got better. I'm 100. They wrote this huge article about me in the Springfield News Leader because I was protesting with the nurses who were about ready to lose their job during COVID, And, that cost me a lot of jobs. I was doing lawn and landscape and all that. But, everything I had said in that article that I didn't give them permission to publish is, justified now. I mean, I don't look like the idiot now,
Wow, man. Wow. Well, listen, send me. I won't read it on air because I won't dox you. But send me the email. I'd love to read the article myself.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I'll send it over. I think they even saw, because I was a Q guy, so they had to throw me under the bus. But I'll send it to you, man.
Well, thank you for the call. Thanks for sharing.
All right, man.
Take care.
Take care from Missouri.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
take care. Chad, is that you?
You bet it is, Frank.
Yo, what's up, man? Hey, wait. Before you say your point, as what the last caller just said, he assumes that we're all just being strung along until they can make their great escape. Where exactly do you think they're going to be escaping to?
It just depends. It depends on if you believe it's a flat Earth, then it's beyond the wall. If you think it's a globe Earth, they're going to Agartha, my friend.
Okay, so where are you? Are you flat or globe?
Depends on the day. Sometimes both.
Okay, I was going to say, where do you lean? All right. Well, anyway, go ahead. What's your thought?
No, I'm typically I trend global sexual, so that's how most days. But the ice wall and the region beyond sounds adventurous. But I think I heard a point around a lot of this. The emails, the Epstein emails, that they sound very ritualistic. There are like sacraments and things that people are doing that bring them into a group of tightly controlled and tightly knit people, and that's it's all very religious. And so I think for the first time in a long time, we're getting a really public insight into what is to kind of channel my inner what's his name, Bill
Cooper.
Doesn't matter. No, Bill, Mystery Babylon guy. At any rate, he talks a lot about like Isis and Osiris, the death and rebirth, and the story of Isis and Osiris is that the brother was killed and his body was put in different parts, cut up in pieces and scattered all upon the earth, but his phallus was not found.
Yeah.
And so the obelisks of our society are representations of that, and that we are all participating in this Osirian, Isis ritual of death and rebirth. And I don't know. I think that there's going to be some crusade. I think there's going to, the pendulum will swing one way or the other. And to me, it's a race against the clock to see if it's going to be, like a Ben Davidson ending first, or if people are just gonna, just have a year of not putting up with stuff anymore. So
I know. It's again. I think it's that first level of resistance that's insane, and that's the real problem. It's just that we have been we've been made so insane on a fundamental level that the fighting, the pairing off that people are having against each other right now, just in a societal sense, that's the real messy part. That's the real messy part, because of how many people took the programming. Like I was just sent this. I saw that guy. What's his name? The transgender guy from Canada who was out on bail. Who even though he stabbed his children in the neck, they left him out on bail, and I think of stuff like that. This is first and foremost a representation of how our society functions now and how it's seen around the world, and it's all for a reason. You want to talk about creating some sort of a plan to stall as you run out the door. I mean, that's just really what it is. They get into the life rafts, and we're over here fighting a whole bunch of schizophrenic transgender people who are just like roaming the streets of the end times. It really does seem that crazy. But anyway, I hope yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, and I think kind of what you let out with like family and talking about how, you know, it's hard, it's uncomfortable, but there's also a way to do it without being overly offensive. And I mean, it's like the first time you tell grandma and grandpa that they can't, you know, give grandkids unlimited amount of soda or any soda at all, and it's just like, well, we gave you soda and you're fine. And it's like, yes, but we don't do that. So are you going to respect this or not? And you only have to do that a couple of times before your parents realize that you're not messing around. And I think you can also have those conversations when people are saying, you know, we need all of the blue-haired everyone, you know, to enrich our society. There are ways to push back and say there are aspects of this that are not healthy, and that it makes sense to, you know, to push back and say, help me balance the scales here. Help me understand how you understand it. And then settle that, you know, kind of balance the scales to say, hey, this is how I see it. And if it's responded to with anger, then I don't know. It's
I think you
the tribe you were born into is different than the tribe you roll with many times through life.
I get you. And I think that a lot of people at home are probably like, yeah, no, that's not going to work with these people. And I think that it might just have to be a judgment call. Thank you for the call, my friend.
Yeah.
It might just be a judgment call. I think this person can go along with it. Oh, okay, this is my cousin. This is my mother. This is my father. You know, I'm just gonna try the gentle approach. But strangers, they don't have any kind of. I don't. There's no chill. I don't see a lot of chill going on there. It's just nuts. It's nuts what you see coming out of people. 608, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, I want to slap your butt cheeks.
Thank you. I got a butt cheek slap. Hold on a second. Let me see. Wisconsin. 608 is like Wisconsin. Okay. Those are some long arms. Getting my ass slapped from Wisconsin tonight. Let's see. 203. Oh, Connecticut. Hello?
Hey, Frank, it's Zerolath.
Hey, Zerolath. How are you?
Hey, listen, I'm good. In terms of your question about the conspiracies of the future, right?
Yes.
So I think it's going to be really interesting because people are not going to ever let go of the Epstein files because it's too good. And I think that one thing that people are not thinking about is, as I have been looking at the files, you know, one list I found very compelling that I played on my channel, which was a list of redacted massage parlors and chiropractors, allegedly. There was so much information blacked out. And this was like on a particular document with all these, you know, the phone numbers and whatnot are out, but the cities were all there. This included Norwalk and Canaan, where I'm looking at the list and so much is blacked out, you know, but in context to the entire data dump, he might have been fishing through all of these different professional establishments, hundreds in New York. And guess what? A few from Morocco for no fucking reason.
What do you think that might be?
And the Moors are associated with the slave trade.
So what do you think that might be about Morocco?
The Moors. The Moors have ancient ties to everything going on with the 13 bloodlines, also called the Incunabula.
Wait a second. Didn't Jeffrey Epstein have a Moroccan passport or something like that? What?
I don't know if that has been reported, But he did have a couple of listed but redacted Moroccan massage parlor chiropractors.
Yeah, well, they did stops. There's a 2002 trip. Well, definitely the Lolita Express. They went to they stopped in Morocco with the Clintons. Let me see here, but I thought for sure that there was some sort of strange identification, whether it be a passport or something that was Moroccan. That's interesting. There, you said Norwalk was one. What was the other place around here?
I believe I saw New Canaan.
Wow, that's pretty close.
Yeah. That's all pretty close. But hey, remember Harvey Weinstein's mansion that he sold just before his arrest, right here in Greenwich.
That's true.
Right? And those, just think about it, man. Robert Maxwell was controlling our education since 1989. Jeff has got Harvey Weinstein in his ear, being a direct influence for the Illuminati on Hollywood in that particular way. And, not just Weinstein Productions, which creates for one kind of agenda, but then, how many ears is he talking about? Oh, put this transhumanist narrative in this, right? Look at Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron, right? If you haven't talked to Tom Althouse, you ought to talk to Tom Althouse about, the Matrix.
About the actual, wait, no, I have not spoken to him about that.
You should get Tom Althouse on. I interviewed Tom Althouse with a team of friends. And he's his story about being the original screenwriter for The Immortals, which were then stolen by Warner Brothers and the Wachowskis to make The Matrix.
And the Wachowskis, they're the ones that are now trans?
And they're the ones that are now trans. And Tom
trans brothers
says that they were made trans as a punishment.
Really?
It's not really who they are. It's a shaming ritual because of the legal situation the Wachowskis' arrogance put Warner Brothers in for stealing the Immortals from him.
Yes.
So they're going with it because the money's too good and the service to the trans agenda is too good. And they said, Wachowskis, you're going to go along with this mess for the legal trouble you've caused us. That was part of, he said that not just in my interview. I think he said that, I think, going all the way back to when I first saw him come out on Alpha Vedic podcast back in the day.
You're making me want to go into some of the Hollywood Anon 4chan posts I have over here that gets into all of the cloning and the handlers and all that other stuff, the test tube babies.
Yeah. This is all very Cabbage Patch Kids from Mind Unveiled. It's, this is a certain kind of history repeating itself. And with what we're seeing with Jeffrey Epstein, this is not just disclosure of the whole fucking cabal. It's kind of like, everybody's waiting for alien disclosure. This is vampire disclosure. That Jeffrey Epstein was a low-level vampire.
Well, this was a fantastic call. Thank you, Zaralath. Make more of them, please.
Yes, absolutely.
And tell everybody your channel.
Hey, you can catch me over on Zaralath Eternal. If you'd like to join me, I do a lot of book reading stuff lately. I'm exposing the Talmud in real time. Come join me.
There you go. He's usually hanging out in the chat room too, so just click on through. Thank you, sir.
Yep, later.
Take care. Very bubbly. Very bubbly. Yeah, okay, so yeah, well, there's a few. I just pulled this one up right here too. It's the first one I grabbed. There's other ones too. Director Anon. Director Anon again, can you please tell me if you have any idea if Axl Rose has become comped? This is where it all started for this one, but I'll find another one in just a second. Let me see here. Let me take a call first from Javi in Houston. Javi, how's everything down there?
Dude, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much.
Same old same, right?
Yeah, I know. It's nothing at all.
So how many esoteric Thursdays did people call in and talk about some movie they saw and how, all that symbolism and blah, blah, blah. And then you're going through those fucking files. You're like, yeah, that's the shit people talk about all the time. Esoteric predictive programming. They're fucking telling you what they're doing. So the karma's on us for being the fucking sheep versus the shit they're doing. And just, fuck, man. The Transformers movies, the Marvel movies, all that shit, bro. It's fucking nuts.
I know.
Like what he was saying, Avengers Age of Ultron. And Marvel, Doctor Strange is an amalgamation for Aleister Crowley, and fucking Tony Stark, Iron Man, is an amalgamation for Alan Parsons. In that movie, they create the homunculus. It's a cybernetic being called the Vision. And it's fucking, yeah, you watch a Marvel movie, you're watching a fucking spell, basically. So this shit's insane, dude.
I can't remember the last time I saw a Marvel movie. And at this point, it's essentially impossible for me to ever watch one again, because I feel like you need to have had prerequisite knowledge of 8 or 9 movies to enjoy any one that comes out now. Like, there's too many Easter eggs that I would miss out on. So I know they've all been very hypnotic just because just nuts. Like it's some, as much as I love Ready Player One, it's very hard to watch that movie just optically. It's exhausting. Things, yeah, just things are moving so quick. It's nuts, man. I thought that the first time I saw it, I said, damn, this movie's tiring. My eyes are fucking tired. But still, yeah, I get you.
That's what tripped me out, that Zodiac. I don't know, I sent you that on Instagram, I believe.
The Zodiac Club?
There's a Zodiac secret society about UFOs. That's fucking Transformers, pretty much.
Yeah.
and then, like, to me, that's in the future. That's like all the recent Alien movies, like Prometheus, Alien Covenant, all that shit, Alien Romulus. That's basically how they perceive, like, how that Fred and I, Saturni crazy shit, how we're not from Earth, someone brought us here, and there's a space program where we're looking for the people who brought us here and all that shit, and that they left clues here on Earth through like Graham Hancock and all them end up finding it. And in that movie, in 2093 we find them and we send a ship.
Well, we have a new Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day film coming out. You excited for that?
Yeah, that's same shit. I'll be watching that, and then the Godzilla movies coming out next, like literally the year after that, where the enemy is going to be some alien humanoid race that comes to Earth.
There's no doubt. I'm going to have to go watch that movie. I'll be bringing a pad of paper and a pen, and I'll go to the Alamo or something like that, so I can at least get myself a meal and make it a day out of it. So, anyway, thanks for the call, Javi.
All right, brother. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, I just looked it over here. This was in July of 2020. Speaking of singers, tell us about Bryan Singer. I imagine one could make some connections pretty high from this string. Bryan Singer, Mark Collins Rector, Brock Pierce to Blockchain BTC, Mindspring Conference, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Mueller, probably higher. Bryan Singer and Patrick Stewart, live connection. Think parties, think photos, think boys, think names, says Director Anon. Uma Abedin and Amal Clooney are twins. Who are these? I love these are the theories. I mean, we're getting into cloning, right? That's where Zorro Ranch, one of the places Zorro Ranch leads. I love the cloning threads. Not as close to the match of these two. And that is, what is that? No, really? Hold on a second. Who was that? It's Uma Abedin and Ocasio-Cortez? No, I don't think that they're twins. That they can't be. No way. They're jar babies? No. Well, you know what? Then maybe not. Maybe. I don't want to be a shill, do I? Let me see. Hold on. What is now? What is this in response to? Gotta find it. Damn it. Oh, okay. Why do I want to F her and AOC so bad? Someone says, part of me goes crazy for it. And why they say is that because they've studied porn and the two women were designed for that. It's to override common sense and natural sense of danger in a target voter base that they wish to subvert. Why do you think big tech wants such access to your browsing taste and data? Do you think that's just market ice cream and spinach to you? To market ice cream and spinach to you? You don't know. Well, that's what the whole Palantir thing is really talking. People are talking about that. Like, for example, I just saw this today. Is this it? Hold on. No. Here, Kim.com. I saw this earlier on today. Breaking. Everything's breaking. Palantir was allegedly hacked. An AI agent was used to gain super user access, and here's what the hackers allegedly found. Peter Thiel and Alex Karp commit mass surveillance of world leaders and titans of industry on a massive scale. They have thousands of hours of transcribed and searchable conversations of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon Musk. They have backdoored the devices, cars, and jets of world leaders and accumulated the biggest archive of blackmail material. Palantir is creating nuclear and bioweapon capabilities for Ukraine and is currently working with the CIA to defeat Russia. They believe that they are 1 year away. They plan to achieve this by keeping Russia busy with meaningless peace negotiations. Palantir is responsible of the majority of Palestinian deaths in Gaza. We already know that. Have developed AI targeting for Israel. That they're essentially making war plans. The AI is making war plans. Battlefield assessments. Palantir is an arm of the CIA, and all data from international clients is copied into CIA spy cloud. Palantir has become the most dangerous company in the world. If you work there, you have the right to know that this is what Palantir AI is used for without your knowledge. The data the hackers allegedly gathered will be given to Russia and or China. I was chosen as a trusted partner for this publication. I'm not involved in Palantir hack, and I don't know the hackers, but I do know that the hack happened. So, source is trust me, bro. The source is trust me, bro. But we were talking about that before. As far as, you know, asking the question, I understand that. I understand that there's always going to be a need for human resources and human involvement, human touched things. I don't think you could replace Jeffrey Epstein organizationally with AI, especially now that we've been able to read the emails and the DMs. I don't think that you could ever replace him. This guy was a hub, and he had a lot of very important people reaching out to him, and it did not seem like they were under duress. Did not see it. I did not see any of that. I don't know what's going to be coming out in the future, but you know, that's just there. They say, you know, that's what big tech. That's what they want your browsing data for. That's why I've asked the question over the last couple of weeks. You know, with Palantir really stepping into the limelight now, and data collection already being so widespread as we know. Are blackmail operations like the one we believed was the primary function of Jeffrey Epstein, which it does not seem like it was the primary function. It's definitely happened before, and I'm sure that acquiring blackmail on people is just a part of keeping yourself personally protected as you're going about the world in these types of dealings. But, I mean, as far as wanting to just put the screws to every little person, I mean, they've got everything. Everything. Everything you've ever searched for. Every dick pic you've ever sent. What do you know about the spiritual, extra-dimensional, and extraterrestrial metaphysical aspect of all of this? Somebody asks, Director Anon. And here you go. This one was really interesting. They sacrifice children to demons for temporal power and then drink their blood, eat their flesh, to harvest the DMT like adrenochrome. This both gets them high and allows them to direct access for channeling demons. It triggers the negative Kundalini serpent. There are 2 serpents at the base of the spine. One leads toward enlightenment, the Jedi, and one leads toward death, Seth, Jedi and the Sith. They are harnessing and invoking the Seth with these rituals. Obviously, I do not recommend what they do. There are great karmic balance to pay for harming advanced sentient life forms. They think they can offset this karmic balance through revealing their plan in symbolism, which I believe will be another way that they were tricked by the devil. We always talk about that too. You know, how the vampire, Zeralath was just talking about it, how the vampire needs to be invited in. They can't just enter in. There is essentially a law of the universe that binds them to do that. That karmically, you need to be able to balance the kind of thing that you are, the prey, the way that you're preying upon innocent, sentient life forms, advanced life forms. They think that showing you things through movies, showing you things on talk shows, introducing things to you by astroturfing ideas onto the internet, or, you know, triggering a leak, or any time that the green curtain just flaps in the breeze and you get to see the wizard just for a second, or even a pant leg of the wizard just for a second. That's supposed to be a little bit of a, well, listen, we put it all out there for you. If you couldn't put 2 and 2 together, that's your fault, not ours. So, anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot, and we have to go into these. I got some great stuff here. I really do. Okay, let me go to your super chats because it's 8:29. I'm going to take some more of your calls. Oh, wait, and there's something else here. There's also, over the weekend, people were going nuts about what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell. His 2026 appearance at the deposition, they're saying it's not her. She has a different nose. It's a completely different shape. Her lips are different. And that aging has nothing to do with this change. So hold on a second. Let me read your super chats. By the way, super chats. I am going to throw in, we're going to throw in a, hold on a second. I have a Flip City magazine. Tomorrow, we're going to add in Jane Barlow's book. We're probably also going to throw 3 Goldbacks in there this week. So send in your super chats on YouTube, quite frankly, superchat.com, Rumble, or Pilled. Pilled, let's get to 10,000 gold pills tonight, friends. And we're gonna pull that out on Thursday. We're gonna pull everything out on Thursday. It's all coming out. It's over. It's been 20 years on broadcast. Just letting it out. And also, I should just say before it gets too late that we had a wonderful, wonderful watch party. 2 weeks in a row, we did Film Club. On Friday night, we watched Drive. So awesome to watch that movie again with Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan and Bryan Cranston and Albert Brooks and even Ron Perlman, that monkey face son of a bitch. He does pretty good in that movie. But anyway, it was a great movie. We've already watched, I forgot how many films, maybe 4 films together since December, and there's going to be so much more. We were all talking in the chat room as it was going on. Afterwards, we spoke for about 15 minutes. Become a sponsor of the show. If you like this show, I'm here for you every night. I put a lot of work into it for 20 years. I am not fucking around. So for as little as $5 a month, you're getting so much back. Books, film, Sunday streams, coffee galore, discounts for all of our friends out there and all of our affiliates and all that shit. And if you become a sponsor over the course of this month, which is anniversary month, but we're just going to keep it going in March as well. Become a sponsor for $10 a month or more, and you're going to get something that nobody's getting right now. And that is this, quite frankly, 20 years on air commemorative shirt. I hate this show. Quite frankly, of course, it was designed by Shane B in the YouTube chat room. That's going out to everybody who becomes a sponsor, $10 or more. Current sponsors are going to get an opportunity to get an order in for the shirt too, but this is going out with your welcome package. So become a Frankly. in official sense. Okay, let's see. Joe Martinez, thank you. Max Meek says Frank can't read all super chats. Fact. Well, here I am. Molly says it is people of Chank's ilk that do not change their opinion unless it hits them where it hurts or they are paid to do so. Still not credible. Molly? Yes. Right on track. Dark Brain 47 says Frank J. Dyer is doing a huge debate tonight right after your show on a YouTube channel, The Crucible, Theology, Philosophy, Bloodsport. Yes, The Crucible is Andrew Wilson's spot. And I was talking to Jay earlier because I texted him to say, hey, man, you got I know it's last minute, but you got a few minutes you want to pop on tonight? And he said, I got this debate tonight. I said, okay, no problem. I'll be watching. That'll be afterwards. But I'd love to have Jay in here. I'd love to have Jay in here. I'd love to have Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson in here one day. I'll work on all that stuff. If I can have Jay, Andrew, and Timothy Gordon in this room, oh man, guys, sponsor the show, because this is the kind of thing. This is where I can say, guys, I'll pay for your plane tickets. I'll put you up in a hotel for a night. I got to be able to do that. Sponsor the show so we can just start flying people in here. I got to get asses in these seats. Max Meek says Frank isn't free. He cannot say my name. Who are you? John Michael Karma says returned a few empties. Thanks, Frank. Good show. Well, thank you. Max again says, Frank, are you afraid to say my name? Why? Do these chats work? Max says. Max, are you okay? Jay Britz says Chunk Uger is at best aware of his irrelevance and obsolescence. Great topics tonight, Frank. Thank you, Jay. It's good to have you around. Let me see here. Here Now Josh says, Frank, it's been 5 years that I found your show. Pleasure to have gotten to know you and your family. Josh, it's awesome to have met you a couple of times now in person and to know that you're out there. To be pen pals and everything else has been great. Great to have you. Corey Trevor says what is this? She is such a count. I guess he's talking about YouTube probably didn't allow him to take out the O and count. Yeah, she is a Count Dracula. Corey also says that DJT wasn't the fathered of our country. I don't understand that one. Jeannie Yankee fan says, hello, correct. Congratulations, Frank. Well, thank you, Jeannie. The dude from 1965 says, here's to 20 years and another 20. Dan Schumann out there. Love that, Dan Schumann. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go on to Rumble, and the lines are open. You guys give me a call. In the meantime, also like the show and give it a share if you can. On Rumble, we have quite a few people who are watching. That's very nice. Let's see. First one up is a Flashy Wizard. Says, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? That is another question to be answered another time. Jay Semo says, excellent show. I love the Aurora show also. A Star is Born. She's just very fun to talk to. I love her, obviously. And if you missed the Saturday show, the Valentine's show with me and Aurora for about 25 minutes, we came here to straighten up, and it was a very nice discussion. Amy, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Frank?
Hello?
Is this Frank?
Hello?
Hello, Frank. Can you hear me?
Amy, how are you?
I'm good, but you're on the air live.
I am. Have a seat.
Okay, I'm freaking out.
Why?
I just wanted to tell you that I am, as of a half an hour ago, have completed a 7-day fast. And I am breaking my fast with a cup of coffee and keto brain.
Oh, man, that must... Have you taken a sip yet? Have you taken a sip yet?
Dude. Oh, yeah. An orgasm in your mouth. I have never tasted anything on this planet as good as that tastes right now.
I can't even imagine that. 7 days. I have such a hard time. I have never hit the 48-hour mark. Obviously, I have some work to do, but I can imagine to be able to get through that 7 days and then for the first thing you do to just pile ketones on top of ketones with that. Oh man, good for you. That sounds.
I'm gonna go jog around the block when I'm done here, but I just want to tell you really quick. I hate the show. I love to hate the show, and we're gonna be a sponsor because I got to get me one of those short shirts.
Well, listen, you just tell me what that nice brisk walk around the block feels like afterwards. I don't know. That sounds like heaven.
Dude, I am 56-year-old grandma. I called the other day and did the hello, Francis, and you thought it was my husband.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well,
oh no,
I hear you still.
My husband died. If you don't remember, you read his thing on your show. I thought it was funny. You were like, I thought you put your husband on the phone. I'm like, that would have been a difficult task.
Oh shit! You know, well, you know, there's one of the awkward parts of all of my, my interactions
you
over
don't
here.
Remember every little thing about
I know,
everybody.
I know.
Get it.
Unfortunately, and I'm sorry about that again. But
No,
again,
it's okay. I just want to tell you, thank Molly. If you ever see Molly, would you just give her a huge hug and tell her that her product has been life-changing for me? And I'm really emotional right now because I'm like flying. I've been a carb junkie, sugar addict, 197-pound, sit on my ass widow, and I found Keto Brainz and it saved my life. So thank you.
Well, listen, the 7-day fast, that's not. I love Keto Brainz, but that 7-day fast, that is an indication of a whole other level of personal will, and that's really, cheers to you. And you know what? From a production standpoint, I just want to thank you for not making it awkward for me when you called in before. And I did. Of course, I don't remember all the details, but thank you for not making it awkward. You
said hello, Francis was at the door, so I had to hang up.
We'll see.
He was wanting in.
Good. Well, good on you, Amy.
I told you that anyway.
It's all right. It's all right. Call in some more and spend some more time with us.
Can I say one more thing really quick? Because I've been wanting to say it, but Phil Collins was on the Jeffrey Epstein Black Book when that got released years ago. Phil Collins' name was on there, and it gives whole new meaning if you listen with new ears to "In the Air Tonight" and "Home by the Sea," especially those the lyrics of those two songs. If you think that he was on Jeffrey Epstein's island and you read the lyrics of that song, they'll blow your mind. I was there and I saw what you did, and sit down. Well, please let us out of here. It's just crazy how if you think about where he was when those song lyrics came to his mind.
Well, if that it really is, and because I know some people know those the several versions. And thank you for the call, Amy. I know some people out there know the several versions of flight logs that we've seen over the years, front and back. They know all the celebrities that have made it on there. If that is true, and Phil Collins was in that place, went to that place, and it all lines up chronologically to when that song came out, then yeah, that could have an impact on the way that people see it all, for sure. Flashy Wizard says, have you ever heard a guy named Donald Marshall? He's on Instagram. He's been talking about cloning facilities for as long as I followed him. Yeah. Donald Marshall's been around for a long time. Long time. I remember me and Rob talking about Donald Marshall maybe 10 years ago on the show. Waltzy V says, it's definitely party time. I pray for everyone and everyone's family tonight. Glad to be right here with all of you. I'm with you, Waltzy. It's good stuff. AIM3 Texas says, Frank, you really need to interview Daniel from Dark Journalist. Well, I mean, I've tried to reach out to Dark Journalist. And just I guess I'll try again. I don't get a lot of responses from some people, but I try. Just remember, for all the people who come on the show, there are 4 times as many that are petitioned. So you can also always just, get in their comment sections and email them and suggest they check me out. That would be wonderful. Waltzy V says 20th anniversary shirt. I'll email you. I love the show. Love you too. Okay, let's take a call from, let's see, 484. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello. Can I talk to Frank?
Yes, Frank is going to be here in a second. Who's calling?
Hey, Frank. It's AK.
AK, how are you? Wait, I was just going to do the whole thing, but you took that away from me. So what's on your mind?
So you asked where you thought that conspiracy theories were going to go in 20 years.
Yeah.
Or something, right? So I think we're kind of starting to see a little inkling of it. With alien disclosure and stuff, people are just kind of not reacting to it. They're like, why now? And with the Epstein stuff, people are like, yeah, we freaking knew that. So I think the pendulum is going to swing so far past that people, they're just not even going to trust basic reality maybe in the future. Maybe not in a schizophrenic way, but in a smug, over intellectualized way, oh, you believe in that, type thing. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
What do you mean? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you want to talk about pendulums. Pendulums, we only ever see from east to west and wonder whether or not we're going to fall back in the middle, or if we pass through one way to get the other. But when you talk about this, you can't really use the imagery of a pendulum to think about because we're talking about how much we believe. I mean, right now, for as delusional as the left is, when how they deconstruct reality, and also not only just how we live and how we interact with each other, and what the purpose of mankind is, and the family unit, all the basic just units of humanity, how that is turned filtered through some subjective lens and deconstructed in some way, and when you go and you take what is already a failed economic and social system, which is communism, that completely discounts and dismisses the human element to things, and how people strive to do things, and how they all don't want the same things, and then you go and you put all that social insanity on top of what is already a bad, economic structure, you get this incredibly chaotic, reality. The opposite of that is you don't believe anything, whereas you believe.
Yeah, people won't trust stability.
Right. So the left is right now, they're known for believing everything. They have to by law, because if you deny somebody's identity, then you are in some way retrograde or bigoted or anything like that. And on the other hand, there are people who will never believe anything ever again, perhaps other than their faith in God and everything. So it is actually almost like mirror image. Maybe perhaps it is a pendulum. Maybe you could still use the pendulum, but I don't know where it would go.
Yeah, I'm thinking people will think a peaceful time will feel staged. A calm peaceful time will feel like it's engineered. And I don't know, people will just I guess I don't know. It's not no mass awakening or mass control, or it's just mass paralysis. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yes.
It's hard to explain.
That's a really great thing, because again, it comes down to where does this all lead? Especially all the new people that are asking questions for the same time. If we get to the point where we're so polarized, are we only just balancing out the crazy we see on the other side? And because there can be no communion between West and East, left and right, supposedly, just to use some relatable terms there, because there could be no union between them, do they just balance each other out? And it's just like you said, a paralyzed stalemate. I totally get what you're saying, because at the same time, how do we take out How do we take out this world order that we have now seen just splayed out on the table before us in the last couple of weeks? I
and now that you bring up the left too, I was also just thinking like about how like we live in two different realities, the right and the left. Like it'll be something so mundane, like someone will say like, oh, the sun rose this morning, and like someone else will be like, okay, but according to who? Like just like stupid stuff like that. People will just be questioning everything.
We're already in the we're already in the play. I saw I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna. Well, thank you for the call, AK, because now I'm going to run on this one. It's great hearing from you. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I was going to just ask her how she feels good that the Valentine's Day rush is over. She's a florist, by the way. I think it was Doge or something. Elon Musk had retweeted some video that was at least presenting this what it was showing as real. This video of the moon, the surface of the moon, and that it was all just, it didn't look real at all. Now, I don't trust NASA, and whatever the hell Elon Musk was tweeting out there, he didn't say it was AI or anything like that, but the moon, it looked like an animated moon, but it was being put out there as real. So I don't know. And I went into the comments. I wanted to see if anything was getting fact checked. People were making fun of it, but a lot of things, it's one thing to say, okay, I don't trust what's coming out of SpaceX. I don't trust what's coming out of NASA because by extension, I don't trust the government and all that stuff. And there's just so much being wasted through the guise of medical transportation in Minnesota right now. Why would I ever believe that the billions are being given to NASA is really, serving us any good, even if they are studying space or sending a probe to the moon? But one way or another, this video doesn't look real. And it's one thing to say this video of the moon, the surface of the moon, does not look real. It's another thing to just say the moon is fake. And there was plenty of that. There was plenty of that in the comments. Not that NASA's fake, SpaceX can't be trusted, the moon is fake. And I was just like, oh boy. These people are fun. Very fun. And maybe some of it was tongue in cheek, but I know a lot of it wasn't. And I guess that could be the opposite of it. So, I don't know. Okay, let's see here. Over on, I think that's it. Oh, hold on. Wait, before we go, we have 9 minutes left. Perfect amount of time to show you the Ghislaine Maxwell thing. Take a look at this. So I grabbed this off of the conspiracy subreddit. As a portrait artist, there are differences in features I noticed on Ghislaine Maxwell's 2026 appearance. Eyebrows shape and eye look different. Eyelids should sag more over time, especially since Ghislaine has hooded eyelids, but now she has double eyelid. Noses do get bigger with old age, and with menopause, it does look completely different than the original. It is more of a button nose, which somehow is wider and shorter. This is not logical for cosmetic surgery or rhinoplasty or hormonal changes. A few inconsistencies in the lobe of the ear, the fattiness of the lobe, the helix crease, and outward protrusion. Her mouth is wider, and so is the distance between the smile lines. Her lips are also more defined, sharp, and flat. Note, this could be the result of stopping lip filler. Her chin structure is also wildly different in a way no plastic surgeon would do. The position of her chin, the prominent circular chin bone, moves up about a centimeter, which is part of the skull shape. It's impossible without shaving the bone. her marionette lines have also magically changed position. So, I mean, this is what we got at the deposition now. I know it's fuzzy. And then, I mean, one's a prisoner and one is living. I don't know. It is true. She kind of looks like one of the Three Stooges. But you know me. I even said that the one time I was on the Timcast. I said I would not be surprised if she is, she reports to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then is allowed to go and stay at a luxury hotel down the street or something, or that she's not really there. But I wouldn't be surprised. Then again, I also wouldn't be surprised if she's there. But does aging do all of that? Does the nose flatten out and puff up like that? I thought that about the lips. It's okay. Well, she doesn't have filler anymore. But a little bit more jowly. She's an older woman now. What are you going to do? Anyway, that's some of the things that people have been talking about. And, yeah, and I would hate to forget this, but I have to give a little bit of props to Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall died 95 years old. He died at 95. A well-lived life. I'll tell you, they should have never even attempted Godfather 3 without him. And that was one of those things where he was going to play a much bigger role in the third Godfather, but then he didn't sign on. And it's mostly because I heard he was not going to be given the right amount of money. That he was being offered like 1/4 of what Pacino was being offered for Godfather 3. And at that time, between the two of them, Robert Duvall was the only one with an Academy Award. He was just, he had just won Best Actor, maybe 2 or 3 years before they started filming in 1989. And I wonder what the script would have been, because obviously it had to go through major rewrites, and it is a very weak movie script-wise. There's so much that could have been done with it, with the Vatican aspect and the bank and all that other shit. The the backdrop of what was essentially the assassination of John Paul I. And there's just so much that could have been done there, and it got turned. It just, I don't know. They shouldn't have even attempted it. But there's just one line, of course. Everybody knows I love the smell of napalm in the morning from Apocalypse Now. But it's the other line afterwards that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and it's just as brilliant. Someday this war is going to end. But he's not saying it as something that's hopeful and promising, that he is just going to be so sad when it's over.
Smell that? You smell that? Napalm, son. Nothing else in the world smells like that. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one time we had a hail bomb for 12 hours. When it was all over, I woke up. We didn't find one of them, not one stinking dink body. Smell, you know that gasoline smell. The whole hill. It smelled like victory. Someday this war's gonna end.
Man, that's fucking good. Someday this war is gonna end. Almost like, hey, soak it up while you can, kids. Anyway, it's hard to be mad. It's hard to be too sad. when somebody you know or someone you just acknowledged or enjoyed from afar lives 95 years and did a lot of great work. So tip of the cap to Robert Duvall from me and anybody else who wants to throw in on that. Okay, I'm going to take all of your pilled comments and I'm going to bring them with me into the flip side, which is going to start momentarily. I just wanted to, I didn't have enough time and I managed the clock poorly here tonight. So I'm going to be dropping that into the chat room. Ladies and gents, and follow me. Come to the flip side. Going to give you some time to get over there right now as I say my good nights. Much more to do this week. Flashy Wizard says, commenting about something from an episode from last week, y'all were talking about how strong weed is and dabs. When I was living in Colorado from 16 to 18, I was smoking 7 grams of wax and an ounce of herb a week. What the hell? When did you wake up? Did you just wake up? $7 grams of wax and an ounce of herb a week? I would have just woken up if that's what I was doing in 2018. Holy shit. You, my friend, are insane by my standards. My, oh my. Lauren just texted me. She said she's an older woman and cut off from all the things that were keeping her looking young. It could just be as easy as that. Lauren, would the nose change that drastically? Like, would you get a big honker nose? Like, she has like one of those 1960s claymation Christmas noses. It's a big honking nose. Maybe it does. Flashy Wizard again says all day, every day. Damn. Anyway, okay. Guys, you have the flip side link. Let's get on over there. We'll talk until the lights go out. And I appreciate you all so much. It's a big week, and I'm glad to be kicking it off with you. All right, everybody. Have a good one. And nighty night. Wait. I refuse to kick this week off wrong. Here you go. See you in a little bit.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite frankly, he's filmed before a live studio audience. And now, our super chatters. Starting with Stostu, who just came in. Sorry, Sto, I just saw this right now. I love you. Joe Martinez, Max Meeks, Molly Arty, Dark Brain, and Max. John Michael Karma, Max a few more times, fighting with himself. And Jay Britz. Thank you to Here Now Josh, to Rockman Drums, to Corey Trevor, to Jeannie Yankee Fan, the dude from 1965. You guys have been fantastic to me, and I look forward to you on the other side of this. Good night. Talk to you soon. All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.